Player personnel.
Bonjour, Nashville. We would like to thank our host city, Nashville, for their kindness during the last few days. Merci. Congratulations to the New Jersey Devils for the Stanley Cup. With our 10th pick, le club de hockey, le Canadien, est heureux de sélectionner. The Montreal Canadiens are proud to select from CSKA Moscow, the CSKA Moscow, André Kostitsyn.
Fascinating pick.
Really is absolute top-end offensive ability, highly skilled, one of the most highly skilled players in the draft, but a lot of question marks. The Russian team was telling everybody that he has epilepsy. He certainly had some sort of seizure over the course of this season, but when he came to Toronto for the NHL Central Scouting Bureau testing, they went through a battery of medical tests, including one with doctors specializing in epilepsy, and he has been declared that he does not have epilepsy. They don't know what the cause of the seizure was, but whatever was bothering him, they believe it can be controlled with medication. There's talk that it might have been another disorder called cataplexy, which is not as serious as epilepsy. In any case, another factor that came into it, when he went to do the VO testing at the NHL Central Scouting Bureau physical combine, he really had a tough time with the apparatus and almost had a bit of an anxiety attack. But a lot of the European players are not familiar with that type of testing and aren't used to having all the gear put on them for such a difficult test on the bike. So lots of questions about his medical history, but this guy's an elite level prospect, and the Canadians are absolutely convinced that medical issues are not front and center.
And they shouldn't be, because independently he's been evaluated by 3 different doctors, and they all said that he's fine. You know, the other thing is, I think we're now seeing the beginning of the Bob Gainey era. There were French-Canadian-born players on the board that were really highly evaluated in terms of their ability to create offense, and the Canadians decided to go overseas rather than stay in the province of Quebec.
Well, if not for the medical problems, Bob, no question in your mind that Kostitsyn would have been maybe a top 5 pick.
Yeah, well, he's right where he belongs. He's a top 10 guy, right on the borderline of the top 10. And it was a medical condition that was scaring some people off that thought it might drop him down between 15 or 20 or even out of the top 20.
This breaks a mold for the Montreal Canadiens, who have been drafting U.S. college players. Most recently, when you look at Higgins, Komisarek, and Hainsey, Eric Bernard has already been traded away by the Montreal Canadiens to the Philadelphia Flyers. Let's go to Dave Strader.
All right, Bob, with the selection of Andre with his medical condition, how much of a concern was that, and when were you sure that he was going to be the guy if he was available?
Well, he was on our list higher than 10th spot, and the way we've approached the draft was to take the player that was highest on our list. I think we're satisfied that any kinds of problems are either minor problems and things that will be resolved, or they've already been resolved. And I think we have a very talented young player to come into what will be a pool of young players in the Montreal organization.
Bob, you're new to the GM position, certainly not new to the Montreal Canadiens and their fans. Jose Theodore, unfortunately, has been in the news for some non-hockey things. Was that a distraction leading into this draft at all?
Not particularly. It was a story that I think was thrust upon him, and he's had to handle that, and we've had to respond to it, like you're asking me about it today. But this is really a day for these younger players, these new players, the future of the NHL, and keeping the focus there. I think they deserve it, and we should do it.
All right, Bob, thanks very much.